Hey everybody, my name is Jennifer. I'm the nutrition coach at Bandit CrossFit. Super excited that you're here. We're going to dive right into our top tips for family nutrition. I want you to make sure you hang around until the end so that you don't miss the education and the steps that I'm going to give you to level up your health. First, I want you to think about these questions as we get started. The first one is, how can you help your family incorporate more conversations into your week that are centered around nutrition? In other words, how can you get conversations started about your food? And is there something specific you're looking to understand? Make sure that you make a note of it, and we can ask questions at the end, or you can always send me an email at info@banditcrossfit.com, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have. I want to start by letting you know that at Bandit CrossFit, we're partnered with Healthy Steps Nutrition so that we can support our clients using a framework that is guided, tested, and it's been proven. We believe that something as fundamental as nutrition should not be complicated, so we focus on a simple habit based approach. Becoming the healthiest version of yourself isn't just about what you eat, it's also not just about working out. It's a combination of nutrition, stress, sleep, exercise support, and your whole lifestyle basically working together. I'm sure that you've noticed that stress, boredom, tiredness, or being around certain people can affect your food choices in a good or a bad way. That's why we take a holistic approach and we focus on all aspects of your health: nutrition, your stress management, your sleep quality and quantity, your mindset, your support system, and just your overall lifestyle. So let's dive right into today's topic. Today, we're delving into the realm of family nutrition. We want to explore how to create meals that go beyond just filling stomachs, from understanding the basics of putting together nutritious, well balanced meals to finding new recipes that the kids can get excited to join in on. We'll uncover some practical tips to upgrade your family's approach to food. We're going to find out how making wise choices, enjoying meals together, and giving our bodies the nourishment that it needs can bring a lot of joy to your house. Together, we're striving for a family life that's not only healthier, but also happier and more connected, all through simple yet powerful steps in nourishing ourselves and our loved ones. No more delays. We'll jump right in. The first tip that I have for you is to try to incorporate eating the rainbow. If you've never heard that phrase, I'm talking about when you look at your plate, you should have more colorful veggies than anything else. Half of your plate should be filled up with vegetables. And then a quarter of your plate, you can use colorful fruits as well. Here's why: we need to increase our fiber. We need those foods are anti inflammatory. Um, More color reduces unhelpful gut bacteria, increases energy production, helps to lower cholesterol, and overall promotes a healthy weight. Encouraging colorful meals for a variety in nutrients can be a great way to help growing children meet their nutrient and intake needs, as well as adults to be energized to do all the things that are on our list every day. Um, each color provides different vitamins and antioxidants. So, looking for each color in your meal, like blue, purple, green, yellow, orange, and red, can be a great way to enhance your health too. So, I mentioned just a minute ago, you want to try to make your plate half of it non starchy vegetables, and then a quarter of a plate starchy carbs, which I mentioned can be fruit. This is a starting plate to help you incorporate more color into your plate. But be sure to increase your vegetable intake slowly. You don't want to go from eating no vegetables to eating that full half a plate of vegetables. You need to allow your stomach to get used to increasing fiber to help you avoid any GI discomfort. You can include various cooking methods such as raw fruits and vegetables, or baking, broiling, roasting, or steaming. And I like to do air frying. So you can kind of see on this chart here, purple are your brain colors for healthy aging. And then I probably can't pronounce all those. Red is good for immunity. Orange is your reproductive health. Yellow is your digestive health. Green is good for our cardiovascular system. And then blue is also for your brain and healthy aging. So kind of those blues and purples are the same thing. Let's get everyone involved when we're adding in more colors. So here are some activity ideas that you can put along with increasing colors. Invite the kids to hunt for different colors at the grocery store or the farmer's market. Let them see how many colors they can find. And that also encourages them to try new foods too. Make it fun. Let them decide what color the day is. Like Monday is reds, Tuesdays is greens, to kind of be able to focus on those foods. And maybe you can try a couple of different foods that fit into that color category. Or let the kids pick a rainbow color of the week. This can also be a great opportunity to talk about having a variety of colors that can provide benefits in all those categories, like the brain and the cardio, the immune health, reproductive health, as well as digestive health. Keep a track, keep notes of how well you are getting all the colors in by creating a rainbow chart together to track how many colors you eat in a day. I think kids love that kind of stuff. You could find some fun stickers for that. And then finally, share rainbow meals on a family photo board or keep a journal. That's fun. The second tip is help out in the kitchen. Divide responsibilities up amongst family members. This is the concept that helps parents and kids understand what their roles are in order to become confident eaters. Establishing boundaries with parents and executing their own roles consistently is essential for making meal times more peaceful and feeding kids in the ways that are right for them. Parents are responsible for what, when, and where kids eat. Kids should be responsible for if they're hungry to eat at this meal or snack time, and if so, how much they eat. We can also think about dividing responsibility in the kitchen. Everybody has a role in helping out, whether it's little or big. When we're talking about preparation, feeding, and consuming, there are multiple steps that ensue to the end result. So let's think about what those roles entail. Getting the ingredients out. Certainly, kids can help with that. Prep in the kitchen, from washing produce to chopping, using the stove and oven. Kind of age requirements are going to be, or parameters are going to be set on those. To putting the meals together, putting it on plates, serving it, eating it, and finally cleaning up the dishes in the kitchen to allow for the next meal to have a fresh start. What this does is increase confidence in your whole family, especially in your kids in the kitchen and around mealtime, by including them in age appropriate tasks. Can also help with building skills and independence over time without tasks, outings, and adventures. The one thing we will encourage you to do here is praise your family for the effort, not just the result. So even if they're trying, praise them for the effort. Don't be critical of the end result. Just continue to keep praising. So this might look something along the lines of, I saw how hard you worked on you helping me in the kitchen tonight. The effort is going to take you far. For kids or even towards your spouse, thanks for putting in the effort to get dinner started. Your support means a lot after a long day. And for the whole family, everyone helped out during dinner tonight. It felt like we were in sync. We were a team. Great effort. When you think about this responsibility around nutrition in your house, it might feel stressful to add your kids into the mix in the kitchen, having them help out, feeling like they will slow you down, which you don't have time. But you are the parent. Ultimately, you decide what, when, and where. Kids decide whether and how much when it comes to the task at hand and even eating their meals. Simplifying it that way keeps you in control. This is about providing boundaries. It also is empowering your kids to help. It's teaching them safety, what's acceptable and what's not acceptable in the kitchen, but it's also not restricting their ability to experiment, to have time to ask questions, and to learn about food and nutrition. It's about setting clear expectations. Examples include, we try one bite. We don't make separate meals. We all sit together at the table during meals, and we clean up our dishes when we're done. You kids have to try something. Even adults have to try something 15 times before they can say that they don't like it. And my middle kid was one of the pickiest eaters I have ever known, and she's now a super great eater. But we were very consistent with sitting at the table together, trying something, and then not giving in to other options when it came to what we had cooked and we were serving. Always making sure that there is something on your kids' plate that they will like, though, something that everybody's eating. So anyhow, work together with your family to identify what roles can be contributed to in your household. In our household, everybody pitches in. Someone is chopping, someone is setting the table, someone may even be keeping the cook company, just hanging out. And then when it comes to serving the meals and cleaning up, we make sure everyone is done. And then we can start the dishes and clean up the kitchen to start back over again. Moms, we know it's a long cycle. It should be a fun family bonding opportunity to further build upon getting the best nutrition available at each meal. Let's talk about the last and final step or tip to keep your family nourished, our family nutrition tips. The third is family dinners. Building kind of off of our last two tips, this one has to be one of my favorites. Family dinner looks like trying new foods, having different themed nights, and continuing to have fun at meal times and being consistent. Truly creating these shared meals builds connection, it builds routine, and it's openness to new foods, which provides so many benefits when we think about family nutrition as it's a time that we can communicate well with each other. Um, it encourages us to be adventurous in what we're eating for dinner, maybe trying something new. And it also lowers the risk of picky eating and disordered habits when we're consistent and we're trying new foods all together. Um, like I said, it can take 10 to 15 tries for a child to accept a new food, and that goes for adults too. Um, Kids are more likely to try foods when they see their parents or caregivers or their peers eating that food and enjoying it. Finally, did you know that play based exposure, which in this case looks like cooking together or creating art with our food, like we're eating more colors, and so you can make things like rainbows on the rainbow night, and sensory play, letting your kids, when they're tiny, feel the things. It boosts the willingness to try new foods, so start early. It's all extremely impactful for your family's willingness to be more adventurous. The slide's being funny. So how are you going to make it fun? Theme nights are a hit with the families that I've worked with. Each kid is able to pitch in their ideas and contribute. I ask my kids every week what's one food or one meal that they want me to cook during the week, and so I find a night that some things take longer than others or easier prep or whatever, and so I put those on nights that that's feasible. We do always in our house have Taco Tuesdays, and we do try to use a variety of styles of tacos with that. You could do like stir fry Fridays. You could have a try something new night. You could do picnic dinner. You could do a cook like grandma night with some old fashioned, hearty kind of meals, soul food. Breakfast for dinner is another one of my favorites, probably because it's super quick, but that does not mean cereal for dinner. You still got to hit, having a protein, a carb, and a fat, making sure that you get some color on your plate. Um, with families, or most families rotate between probably 7 to 15 different meals. It can be tough at times to get creative, and that's okay. It just means that you still need to be aware of what those recipes look like for you and your family. You even need to be willing to add more into your tool belt. So, Healthy Steps Nutrition on our Bandit CrossFit website, there is a link for recipes under nutrition. There we have a ton of really good recipes that are healthy and kid approved. Some of our favorites are the cheesy beef and broccoli bake, kind of like a shepherd's pie, buffalo chicken casserole, egg roll in a bowl. That is the literal fastest, easiest, yummiest recipe. Meatloaf muffins are great for meal prep, and sloppy joes are always a kid's favorite. So if you haven't lately, try to get a new recipe in your rotation. This will continue to build up your recipe choices, adding variety, color, and fun. At this point, we've given you a lot of information and you probably have a lot of notes. Um, so I've got just a few, I've kind of broken this down into what your key takeaways could be. Eat the rainbow, make colorful eating fun and visual, and then share responsibility, build boundaries and confidence, and then dine together. Make it routine, be consistent, make it a happy time, and be creative. Pick one of those tips today as you take the next step towards having healthier meals together as a family. With consistency, commitment, you can take control of your health. Your health is now in your hands, so take action. One question that I get a lot is how can I get my kids to eat more vegetables? You just have to keep offering them without pressure. Remember that it can take up to 10 to 15 times of trying. Talk about the benefits of the different vegetables and connect them to your child's interest and goals. Did you know that broccoli is a superfood that can help you get stronger? Or these orange veggies help your skin and your night vision? Make sure vegetables are visible and available, such as being prepped in the fridge or on the counter. You can also try adding veggies to their favorite meals, for example, like spinach in smoothies or bell peppers on a pizza. And last but not least, get kids involved in growing vegetables, shopping for vegetables, and preparing vegetables. That can make it a little bit. And then also, one thing that I didn't put in my notes, cooking vegetables in different ways. Because you may not like them sauteed, but you might like them air fried. So trying different cooking methods too, and that can be fun. How often should we eat together as a family? At least 3 to 4 meals a week can start to make a big difference. Regular family meals are linked to better eating habits, improved communication within the family, and emotional well being. It can lower stress levels. Children and adolescents who eat regularly with their families consume more fruits, vegetables, more fiber, calcium, and iron, as well as fewer fried foods and sugar. Big one. Now that we've talked about for the tips for nutrition in your family, I do want to circle back and focus on the 3 core principles of our nutrition program, which are focusing on whole foods first, eating meat and vegetables, nuts and seeds, some fruit, a little bit of starch, and no sugar, or as little sugar as possible. And then focusing on a balance of macronutrients, incorporating protein, low glycemic carbohydrates, healthy sources of fat with every meal and snack. And then limiting the number of processed carbs, processed food in general, really, and sugar. These 3 core principles have helped over 50,000 people in the Healthy Steps programs worldwide to improve their health, increase performance, and reach their health and wellness goals. Please email me with any thoughts or notes or questions that you have. If you need more information on like what do I mean by low glycemic carbohydrates and stuff like that, shoot me an email and I'd be happy to send over some notes on that, some things that you can kind of keep in your kitchen. Or I have some rainbow handouts that I could send to for fruits and vegetables and trying new things. We do have personal nutrition coaching at Bandit CrossFit. Like I said, we're partnered with Healthy Steps Nutrition. This is just some of their success stories. These are some of our people in the gym that have seen great success going through our nutrition program. If you're looking for more free resources in addition to these nutrition talks that we have once a month, there is a podcast that Healthy Steps Nutrition puts out. It's called Nutrition Made Simple. You can find it anywhere that you listen to podcasts. And then just kind of an overview of what our nutrition coaching program looks like is some standard accountability. Once a month, you come in for a check-in. We start with a 60-minute consultation where we kind of overhaul what you're doing and come up with a plan. I check in with you weekly via our Healthy Steps Nutrition app. You get a 30-minute monthly meeting, and then in that app, we track habits, we take meal photos. There's daily education in there. We do pictures and measurements at that monthly meeting. And then we have a higher accountability program, which just adds in a weekly phone call in addition to that. Be on the lookout for a nutrition challenge coming up if that's something that interests you. But that's all I have for today. So thanks for joining me. And if you have any questions, reach out to info@banditcrossfit.com. You could also, well, it went away. I thought I had a scan code for a phone call, but you can also call Bandit CrossFit and I would love to chat with you. Have a great day.